Cool. Well, my name is Sean. I've been in Atlanta ever since 2013. So
Okay.
October is going to be my 9th year here in Atlanta.
Is that how you want to start it? I grabbed all the cool stuff out of my grandma's houses.
So awesome.
Yeah, so it's partly my kids down here a little too, so you'll see a little bit of, I didn't do the rope lights. But yeah, this is just my pile of,
Wow.
my little geode, I guess. But like,
I really love that.
that's kind of new. I could go 100% this style, but I can't. I keep going
Back and forth
expressive-y,
between, yeah.
and I do both, and that was my goal, is to combine it, but I could do this all day. It's very
It
relaxing.
is very clean. I really
And I
like
don't have anything in mind. It was going the other way, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a scorpion. So then you know what I mean? So I have no thoughts.
that's
So like your
amazing.
stuff is different because you plan it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You may not know what it looks like in the end.
Well, kind of like in the basic conceptual part, and then as I'm working on it, I've just started adding new stuff to
Yeah.
it. So it just kind of comes as I go.
Yeah, and you got good little like scenes of Atlanta. That's what I like too. It's kind of
Oh.
like I was watching one and I couldn't go sleep. Like making the light on the scooter or whatever. I was like, oh dang,
Yeah, it's kind of like Atlanta's doppelganger, you know. So that's kind of like the direction I want to go. I take different iconic cities and just make my own little spin-off.
Yeah,
of that
it's
city.
cool looking. It's cool looking.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's one of Michi's. This is back when me and Michi were young. We went to Albany, Georgia, and did all this crazy
I'm
photo
from
shoot.
Albany, Georgia.
Yeah, the Maryland fried chicken. He just let us sit
Yeah.
outside all day,
Wow.
and we
Small
filmed.
world, man.
I think there's some watermelon back there. Like, that was a crazy fun. Cause Albany is southern. It's almost
Yeah.
poor, like dirt floor poor.
Yeah.
Some places, or at least the ones we were like. But this chicken was good, I thought. But all day, just to drive through, people come in that little weird spot. But yeah, that
I
dude
like
was
it
awesome.
because it stands out because of the artwork on the
Yeah.
outside. So it definitely.
And we had Zach Wolf, who's like a badass photographer now. He was the one who did it all, like when he was young and stuff. He does he does everyone. T.I., everyone, Big Boy, everyone. The best one he did was
wow.
3-6 Mafia. They won an Oscar or something. So they had an Oscar, but then he did this picture where they just did a chicken joint with food everywhere, and that Oscar sitting there, and they're just eating and stuff. I was like, it's the baddest picture ever. Because there's an Oscar sitting there,
I'm gonna have to
and
take
they're
a look
just
at that.
like, it's great. It's great.
I'm gonna take a look at it.
Yeah, Zach Wolf's freaking. Every time I see him, he's got those cameras that are like floating on him. You know what I mean? Like he keeps getting more and more cameras. I'm like, dude, you're gonna be like a cyborg with the thing. Yeah, but basically, this is just a storage for me. Basically, I got a bunch of
Dope
paintings
storage,
back.
man. Wow.
Yeah, so with me, it's like I'm addicted to machines, kind of. So like, all my money goes to like machines, like a vinyl cutter. Like over here, I haven't even used this one yet because I don't know how to unlock the
Right.
potential. But like this thing is what I want to do next. It's a wood. You put a vector and it cuts it.
Wow.
But it's the learning curve is.
Right, just learning the whole process.
And like then you go, oh, I'm gonna go nuts. And then when it's time to make something, I'm like, I don't have an idea. I thought I would have a million, and I realized I didn't have.
That's why YouTube is my best friend.
Well, yeah. See, I get addicted. Like but like that was on it. Like it cut it out and stuff, and that's little fonts cut out and everything. So it's this is an old piece me and Michi did. That's like, I think it's one of the best paintings in Atlanta that never got. I think 50 people saw it. This is my rough room because the dude who lived here, old dude, had like welding. He's got like a vent that comes like it was set up. I was like,
Man, I can get
killer.
lost in here.
Man,
it's like a
for
whole
real,
other
I invite
world.
anyone to come because like I come down here, I'm like, I don't know what to do. If someone was doing something, I'd be like, I know what to do now. You know what I mean?
You were
Right.
like 3D printing and stuff too, aren't
Yeah, I haven't even played with it yet. I played with it once, but after that, I just kind of, went back to like painting. But I'm definitely going to get back into it. Yeah, kind
kids
of like
want
the
me to get a
resin,
little one, and I'm
like the
like-
resin 3D printing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get into it because there are some other creative ventures that I want to get into, like taking the worlds that I build on canvases and taking some of the elements in there and just bringing them to life, making them 3D.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
I might spend like $100 with this company that'll for like $100, they'll take a 2D drawing, and I've looked at all their catalog. And I'm like, wow, they're really good. They'll take a 2D drawing and then give you that 3D.
3D.
You know,
appearance,
they'll imagine the rest of it, and all of them I looked at them like, dang, really good at, you know, it's not just half-assed. So I may see like, because I had this little bird I do, and I wanted to have the bird snatching like chains off wrappers. So the bird, every bird, it'd be all these different birds that would just have chains of. I just go look online and make a fake, you know, Gucci Man, Bart Simpson, or something like that. And I just want all these birds that just snatched all these chains out, like they flying around snatching chains. I don't know why, but I was like
bandits.
Yeah, just ATL, bird bandits. I busted my ass in my 20s, you know, all the time painting live here, all the time, doing everything. And then I think 30s is when I was like, I was like, oh, I was having kids. 30s were weird, where I was fighting more for art stuff. But now I feel like I'm just the domesticated male living in his basement. This is my man cave, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Hey, I would go nowhere. I'll stay here.
Well,
just
man,
live here.
anytime I'm telling everyone, because it's just power. Like, you know, if you need a vinyl sticker, just come up with a vector file and make a bunch of stickers. You know what I mean? Because I need mojo put into these machines, I think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I need more people like, breathing life to them.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Weston,
man.
when you want us, what you want? That's fine.
Thank you, sir.
Let me get a cheers right here. Go ahead.
What you looking at? Oh, that's smooth.
Oh yeah.
It's like this smooth. I love it. Right? It's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, let me ask you that. So we've had a couple people come in here and stuff, and it seems to be when we ask them how they get to Atlanta, it's never a normal story. So like, what's yours?
Albany is definitely a small town.
Albany.
It's an interesting town. But for the most part, I liked it. You know, I can say this when it comes to like my artistry and everything. I can't say that nobody has. I can't say that nobody hasn't shown me any support.
Meaning they have?
They have
Yeah,
shown me
yeah.
support.
Back in Albany is what
Yeah,
you're saying?
back in Albany.
Well, that's-
you know,
that's
for the
good. That's
small town that it was. Small town. I mean, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, and you know, there were a art collective that we was trying to start down there. I think it was the Art D-Town Coalition, something like that.
yeah?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. And we tried to start different events, you know, based off of.
How did it play out like in a small town?
It was pretty cool. You know, we had the support from the city manager.
I didn't think that's true.
Yeah,
You do have a connection with the higher ups in a smaller town.
Right.
Yeah.
The guy that was there at the time, you know, he was super supportive of what we was trying to do, to where we started like an art park, you know, down there. Yeah, it was like one of those abandoned buildings in the downtown area, and you know, we kind of took that. We saw the potential in what it could become, and we just slowly in time, you know, just started turning into an art park where, you know, it's graffiti. I think we did a few art shows there. It was dope. It was amazing. And I guess for me, you know, how I got started, for one.
Well, from that spot, you got a little stuff going in Albany and stuff. Like, did it give you just enough to be like, I want to take this bigger? Or were you just like, I'm ready to move? You know what I mean? Like, what started you want to be like, I think I'm gonna go to Atlanta?
Well, I mean, at the moment, I think I was trying to make that move to Atlanta, but I just didn't have the means nor the finances, the support to make that move. So, I mean, at the time, I was working at a grocery store.
Yeah.
You know, just, you know, trying to make ends meet. And through through time, because of the support that I've been getting and just
Right.
constantly, putting my work out there, I managed to get a studio spot downtown. It was this lady, she owned this building, and she was like charging me like $200 for that space. It wasn't a big space, but it was.
Seems
a
like a
space.
lot then, but it doesn't seem like a lot now. kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. But I mean, but there was so many other spaces that I was utilizing.
Right, right.
To help do my stuff, and then after a while, there was another space that I inquired about. It's like the only loft space in Albany at that time. So that gave me the chance to really expand and do the things that I wanted to do. So with that, I just started creating bigger work, and of course, I have no formal training. I'm self-taught and everything. So that allowed me to become more free in my creativity. And
I've noticed that down here, especially. I mean, not because I haven't been much of the places, but not a lot of people went to art school. Like I know a group of people that did, but everyone else, I mean, it's all hustle and development kind of, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's like it is a land filled with people who don't, not in a bad way, but don't know what they're doing. They're making it up as they go, and I find that freaking beautiful.
Yeah,
because it's mysterious. The outcome's always mysterious. Yeah.
I mean, plus, I couldn't afford it at the time, but I did go to a community college, Albany Tech.
Yeah.
So I got my diploma in both architecture and mechanical drafting design. So I never used it. I went to.
I did that in high school, thinking I was gonna be an architect, but I burnt out in high school. They had like architect classes or something. Yeah, I kind of did that whole. I always wondered what my life would be if I was that. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it kind of suck a little. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe not.
I did like one intern.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going great because they liked the work that I did. But then after they just started talking about marketing strategy, I was like, okay, I'm done.
That's not it.
They no longer need my services once they start going that route. But it was a little experience,
Yeah.
So, but then just to kind of skip over, things just started going downhill. With my job situation, not getting enough hours to really make rent.
Right.
And at the loft that I was at, the lady, she was very lenient because I went months and months without paying rent. Not nothing to brag about, but it's just, it just shows that, the leniency. If I were her, I probably would have been like, hey man, you gotta go. But she was nice enough to.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of. That happens a lot. I think you get those people that like the arts. They're sucking it up for the arts, because I know a lot of people that just didn't pay very often.
Yeah, and I
it's
feel
like,
bad, man. I felt bad because it's like, dang, but my job was tripping, and I think it was one point in my life, I think around 2005. This was before the whole loft and everything. I was staying with my dad at the time. I became a corrections officer. I was a weird transition.
That's weird. I've only heard that's a hard job.
It is
a scary, everything hard.
It
job.
is. I only been there for like 5 months, so that should say a lot. It takes a certain.
Were you just like, man, I gotta find something, kind of thing?
And don't get me wrong. The pay was good. The benefits was also great. But it just wasn't for me. I don't have the heart.
Or maybe the hard heart.
To be honest with you, it wasn't even the inmates because I expect them to be knuckleheads. But it was just the other officers. You know what I'm saying? With their issues, just the negativity.
I can see it.
Especially
someone who's been there forever, jaded is just probably hates humans. Period. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Some of them definitely hated me for some odd reason, but it's just seeing that side of law enforcement, man. And I'm not trying to and I'm not on here to,
Oh, no.
put down law enforcement, but
It's just a part of you going,
like,
I
yeah,
gotta
like,
find something else.
I definitely gotta find something else because, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You definitely have to learn real quick because in an environment like that, you can't. It's very little room for error. You know what I'm saying? Because
Get your ass killed.
your life
right?
can be on
I
the
mean,
line,
it's-
then you put other
Yeah.
officers' life on the
Yeah.
line when you make mistakes. I get that, but at the same time, it's your attitude doesn't make it easier for me to, adjust and adapt. So I just finally, they called me in. I guess there was an incident that happened where they had to call me into the office. The captain, and they, gave me an ultimatum. You either, get with the program or you sign your resignation.
Yeah.
And I opt out.
Yeah.
Real quick because it just wasn't. It's
It
not.
seems
for
like a
everybody.
job you know quickly if your personality will even evolve to that. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like you know
right.
quickly, like, no, I don't have those juices in me or whatever. You know what I mean?
Nah,
Like,
nah. And then at the time I was, I stopped painting.
was this in Albany?
Yeah, this was in
Okay,
Albany.
this is okay. Yeah.
And I stopped painting for like 2 years, during that whole, because part of it I was kind of
Too busy or just like maybe I'm wasting my time with painting? Because there is that thought sometimes, but
just depressed, man.
Yeah,
Just depressed, just feeling like you're not going anywhere in life. You just feel like people don't value you.
I think this is what I just figured. Like, for an artist, not having imagination when you need it makes you depressed. It's a thing that artists have. Like, if I can't think of anything for paintings, I'll probably get a little depressed. You know what I mean? It's attached to your emotions a little, like, because ideas come out of the universe, and when they don't, it's just a little sad. You know what I mean? I've been in those stages. I'm probably in it right now. I'm 2 years deep into like, what's going on? You know what I mean? 20 years in, and still like, what the hell is going on? And I couldn't tell you. You know what I mean? I could guess, But was that the last straw on getting you to go up?
No. After I resigned from being a correctional officer, then I went back to what I was doing, which was groceries, the grocery store, being a stocker and everything, and within that, I managed to get an apartment and things of that nature, and then a couple of times, I partner up with other people. I roommated with other people and stuff, just so that way it'll be a lot easier because the first apartment I had, I allowed my friend to roommate with me.
Right.
But then we just figured, hey, well, why don't we just get a bigger space so that way you'll have a bed and then I'll have a bed and then we can just make things work. So we did that, and then we kind of parted our separate ways, and I ended up rooming with another guy, which was an artist, which was cool, totally opposite ends of the spectrum, but for some reason we managed to work,
That usually works the best.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, like, when you were a kid, all growing up, I just for my own knowing, because I was a doodler, I was always the kid that could kind of draw. Like, when did it hit you? Like as a kid, you're like, oh wait, I'm good at this. And I know people tell you that, when you're a kid, you're really good at this, but like, I was that kid, but then around the middle of college, I literally felt like a click, and I was like, oh, I got this, or I'm one of these people. You know what I mean? Like a creative clicked in. Like, even though I painted and did all this stuff, there was a click in it, and it was the most drive I've ever had. When you paint day in, day out, I just stay up 3 a.m. every night. Do you have one of those when it kind of clicked, like I've got something here? You know what I mean? It may not be your ultimate form, but you're like, oh, I got something here. And maybe that click is what releases the freaking jet fuel. You know what I mean? It felt like it went and then.
Yeah. again, me being at the grocery store allowed me to meet some interesting people. So this is one guy that worked in produce. He gave me this magazine. It was like a Southern magazine, but it had on the front cover, it was this particular artist that he introduced me to. And I just started looking at his work.
Yeah.
And a lot of his work was music inspired. Now me, I'm also a musician.
Right.
I play keys and everything.
Ooh,
that really sparked something that
Yeah.
like, hey, I can do works based off of, my love for music. So, because I'm a huge jazz buff. I love jazz. Back in the day, my pop and I used to listen to jazz nonstop at night.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, these next pieces that I'm gonna do is gonna be dedicated to musicians that I love and just music in general.
It sounds the same in a way because you go, oh, I can paint the other thing I love too. Like for me, it was a little less like, it was like I saw Basquiat's work and I love it, but I was like, oh, you can write words on paintings? Like there was rules and I didn't know you could do that.
Right.
And that changed everything for me. Just going, oh. Basically, you're saying, "Oh, I can do whatever I want," but you don't know that. You know what I mean? But it's exactly how you said it. It's exactly how I was like, "Oh, I can do this."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's so weird because, yeah, it's very weird how something little like that, that to me, that's one of the gears. You know what I'm saying? That little statement. Oh, shit! I didn't know I could do that. Yeah, I like hearing that. That's exactly like literally you said it like exactly how my head did it when I was like, "Oh, you can write words."
Tell John who the artist was up front for that matter.
His name was Aaron Reed. It was more like a mixture of abstract and figurative.
Was he Albany or was he just
He was
from somewhere?
I want to say that he was from Albany, but he moved to Atlanta later on. I think he still resides in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, getting in contact with him and everything. And I met him a few times, and it was dope. He gave me a lot of good pointers and things of that nature. One being definitely, traveling with your art. If you definitely want to do this full time, just go traveling with your art. Hit up a lot of the festivals.
I did. I almost feel like I'm going back to festivals because I'm tired of. I don't want to talk artsy stuff with people. I just want to make stuff and
Sell
sweat
it.
and sell. You know what I mean? So yeah, I did that a bunch. I did all the where you apply for a festival and you like write a $300 check, hope it doesn't bounce because they're gonna cash it if you get in, kind of thing. It was always like a play on like, oh shit.
Yeah, I utilize Zapplication. Heard of that?
It's funny because that's when I dropped out. That's so funny because I dropped out because I couldn't get on. I was like, God dang it! Because before it was very manual. You know what I mean? I'm sending photos of my booth example.
Right.
And then literally when Zapplications came out, I was like, fuck, God damn! I couldn't get. I didn't have photos and you know what I mean? Everything. And I was like, I'm not doing
some
it
of those
anymore.
festivals was kind of,
Some make you money though if you do it right.
Yeah,
It was
right.
fun to market for yourself. Like I
Right.
have a shop. I want to market my shop. It was so fun to do that.
Yeah, the first time I did it, I got in with this one show in Gainesville, Florida. It was like a college town. I think it was like the spring. I forgot what they call it. It was like some kind of spring art festival.
Florida's got
Then I was also making prints of my work and stuff like that. I was still doing the jazz work.
Right.
Before I was doing more of the 3D perspective.
Right.
So I had a lot of art prints, and I was making a lot of money with those prints too.
Yeah.
And I was making, and I sold a few originals.
Yeah. That's how they work. You
Yeah.
make this, but then if you sold original, that you'd be like, yeah, you know what I
Right.
mean? You'd have that extra money you didn't think you were gonna have. Yeah.
Right. So that whole process of trying to get down there was like quite interesting. I had a friend that actually, she did grants and stuff like that, and sponsorship packets and stuff
That's a
like
good
that.
friend to have.
Yeah. So I definitely got up with her, and she put together this dope sponsorship packet, and it had levels to it.
Oh yeah.
Like different tiers. You get certain benefits and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I went to like the different businesses downtown Albany, and just went door to door, and just kind of proposed, did my proposal, what I was trying to do, presenting them with the the sponsorship packet. Some of them, they wasn't on board. Some of them they immediately jumped on because they seen my work, and they was very supportive.
Well, you're making me remember all my, like I did festivals forever. I do festivals, and then I'd do small paintings. You paint towards the festival. You like, man, these are $50. I could sell, all these, and then you'd have that badass one, that may or may not sell, but it gets eyeballs
More for
in
like
there.
promotional purposes.
Yeah. Had the tents, the walls. You had to have a whole setup. I'd shoved all that in a CRV. It would fit in a CRV somehow, hanging out the back. Yeah, it's weird. Right now in my life, I almost want to do that again. And I don't know if that's the worst story in history because I went right back to where I started, or if it's like maybe I am just an artist. I'm not. It's more of a Western side. I look at it almost like it's a damn disorder. It's a genetic. My grandma gave it to me. My mom never pursued it, but she can do it. So like, it's gonna happen no matter what. I mean, if you're a freaking fireman for the rest of your life, you're gonna paint, right? Because you have to. Right? I mean, I feel like it. So yeah, you're reminding me of those festival days.
Yeah,
and the work. It's a work.
The interesting thing about that, man, is that I didn't have any tents. I didn't have any tables. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm kind of proud that, I was very, tenacious about getting down because I had like an old 1999 Oldsmobile Seabreeze. Ooh. And there were some people that's supposed to come with me, it's in the company, and slowly they dropped out because of other things that came up and stuff. So I was like slowly freaking out. And I didn't think I had all the money that I was supposed to, be getting from the different businesses that. So last minute, I kind of did my rounds just to get the give them the packets and stuff. And then I got the funds from, which was like $500, to.
What was it? What were you offered? Like what, when you say
I was
sponsor, like what were
offering,
you?
just kind of like recognition, and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I don't really know. I don't really remember what the benefit was.
But you were just hustling. You were like,
I mean, there was a benefit. I just don't remember. I'm probably like their logo or whatever.
Yeah. Some kind of like a typical like you get a shout out, you get this or something.
Yeah. But I think at the time, most of them was just happy to support. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or
Nice
whatnot.
people helping out, supporting supporting the arts.
Yeah.
You gotta buy paintings to support the arts. That's all I always said. I've been like, you gotta buy paintings from artists.
Yeah, some of the businesses, they had my work in their establishment, just kind of, helping promote me and stuff like that. And at that time, I was freaking out because no one, was willing to come out and, help me. But then my pop came in and it was like, okay, because, he wasn't really doing anything at the time. So he volunteered to come with me.
That's cool.
So, but still, I was still freaking out, I was like, and then I was venting to my roommate, like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna get down there, bro. I don't have any. And then one thing he just told me, he was like, Sean, just get all your stuff, put it in that car and just get down there. You know what I'm saying? It may sound simple, like, but when he said that, it clicked. It's like, okay, I need to make this happen. You know what I'm saying? And plus, this is my first festival, out of town festival, so I had to make this happen. And then that's when my pop came in and was like, okay, I'll help you.
Oh yeah,
so,
that was meant to be then. That was all.
Yeah.
That was all.
This smaller Sebring, I probably had at least about 20 paintings. They weren't small paintings. They were like huge. I think the biggest one I had was like 36 by 48.
Yeah.
Fitting this. And then I had like prints. I had easels. I had like this weird little column thing that I still have today,
But I would only paint the size of that would fit in my. Because for a while I had a Honda Civic, but they could put the seats down and it would fit 3 feet. So all my 3x4s, because I could slide them in and whatever. If I had a 5x4, I would just leave it. I remember a guy driving off on one. I was like, I just leave it. I can't take it home. I left it.
But yeah, man. But at the time, I didn't have any tents and I had no tables, so it made packing those things a lot easier. So the thing is that on my way to Florida, I think we ended up stopping because we switched sides. My pop decided, to drive the rest of the way, and then I had my phone in my lap. So what happened is when I got out the car, my phone fell out because I was on the driver's side. It fell out to the street and I didn't realize it. And I got in. Then halfway, well, not halfway, I think we was probably maybe like a half a mile out. I was like, where's my phone? I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah,
it fell out into the... So when I came back, that very spot that we got out, I found my phone just in pieces. It was all smashed up. So I ended up getting there with no phone, but I mean, the show must go on. So I happened to use his navigation on his phone. And then when we got there, to Gainesville where the site was, I already had my booth number and everything. So, but I had no tent. But you know what? And I was looking at everybody else's setup, and they were looking so professional.
Yeah, that was like your
outside
show. Like, look at my walls.
But you know what? Like, I wasn't intimidated. I just went around, just started scouting. And it was like, okay, let me see how they doing their setup and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just kind of studying. Oh, okay, he got the little wall set up, everything. Yeah. Oh, okay, he got the partitions and stuff. Like, okay, he got his prints separated from his original. Okay, cool.
Oh, you feel like, you got the felt walls.
Yeah.
There was a fanciest level. There was
so
DIY and then
right.
You built a little art gallery with your fancy walls.
So mind you, I only had $500, so ain't no way I was gonna get all that fancy stuff. So after
you were rich back then, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had $500 when I was 20 or 30. Yeah.
So like my brain just started computing and like, okay, I gather all the information that I need. So I got back and I was like, Pop, we need to make a run. We need to go to a Kmart or whatever. We need to get a tent. We need to get at least 2 tables.
Right.
And we're gonna make this thing happen in some zip ties. So we ended up leaving the site, and then we went to, I think, 2 locations. One location they didn't have what I needed, but we managed to find a Kmart, and they had like a tent. It was like a blue tent for like $75. It was on sale for $75.
Yeah, like little sports
it was like
tent thing.
I think it was like a 10-footer tent, and then we found like 2 foldable tables. One of them I still have to this day, and the other one, I think it just got lost. So we grabbed them. I think I still had all my work in the car at the time, so I just managed to fit them all in the car with them without damaging my work. And then we went back to the site. I think I still have pictures of, that whole process.
That time?
Yeah. And we made it work, man. We set up all my work. Some of them was tied to the tent. Some of them was on easels or whatnot. Yeah. And I made that thing work, man. I had prints, on this one table and everything laid out. I had like my, because I was taking credit cards at the time. I had my credit card information. Just
I had one of those one side.
Well, I was using Square app.
Yeah. When that came out,
so
that changed the game.
Yeah,
for
it definitely
festival
changed the
artists
game.
And stuff, yeah.
And when I tell you, like, I got so much traffic, and people was coming up because they just loved the style. Because I was working like more of the monochromatic style with the jazz theme. It was having their own color scheme and everything.
You can stand out in a festival if you really have something unique. You know what I mean? You can really stick out like, whoa.
And what was so crazy about this, man, it's like, because there was a lot of black, well, I guess you consider black art because there's a lot of black jazz musicians.
It's a style.
It was more like white people and
pelicans and palm trees.
Yeah, man. It was like, wow, man, they are really digging my art. And there was a lot of young kids that was buying art too. Well, it was buying prints. It was like this one 12-year-old kid came up and was like, let me get 2 of those. So I'm like, okay, 2 prints, boom. And they had this one doctor, she bought I think she bought like 2 originals, that I had.
They're better resources. The more you're talking about it, I'm like,
Yeah.
I may.
And what was so crazy was like at the end, the last day of the festival, we were still going. You know, people were still looking at my
Right.
work. People still buying prints. And as a matter of fact, I was about to break down. There was an artist right next to me that was like, "Don't break down because the attraction that you're getting is starting to overflow to me." So yeah, man, keep
He
your
was like,
keep your
keep
setup.
the light on so
Yeah,
I can see
keep it
my
up.
shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And his setup was like dope. You know, he was like a photographer, so he had like a really dope setup.
Yeah, but that painting stand, I mean, because I kind of went into festivals like that because my stuff didn't feel, let's just say, beach condo painting. So the younger would go toward it. The parents would be like, why does my young kid love this? You know what I mean? There was so much confusion with it all. But yeah, you make me want to do it because I like sweating and working. And it's work. It's all you.
But you know what made it really happen for me is my pop, because he's good at sales. Anything. He's a glass salesman. He sells and makes glasses.
If he's a salesman, then that's a different breed of human.
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
frightened by salespeople.
So
They
him,
will
he
sell
was not afraid to talk to people.
Right.
He's very outspoken, outgoing. It's like, hey, you got Prince here. Look at my son. You know, he's just talking to different people. He's putting on a show. He just has that charisma.
Yeah,
to
I'll
just
hire him next time I have to do something. Because like, dude, I hide in the corner. I'm just not. Or like art shows. It's either like,
Yeah.
you might have some good conversations. I tend to ramble, so I like have to pull myself away from somebody. But yeah, man, all that stuff, man, it brings back memories too. For me, I don't know how people read music so fast. It's very confusing that there's lines and circles, and my eyes don't. You know what I mean?
Look, I tried to
It's
take.
hard. It's hard.
I tried to take a general music class to learn how to read sheet music, and I play by ear.
That's
So
kinda,
the moment I become familiar with the harmony and stuff like that, then it kind of defeats the purpose of learning how to read sheet music, because all I'm doing is just memorizing. It's like I'm looking at the symbols, but in my head I'm like, okay, I already know where it's going.
Yeah, I kind of, I'll tastefully find the wrong notes and then avoid them the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, oh, and then I'll be like, don't do that again.
So so I mean, eventually I want to get back into learning sheet music, but it's going to take some time.
I got my oldest son plays trumpet, and then my youngest son's in percussion, which is a tactical move because it's so much more fun to play guitar if there's a drummer. You don't have to play that much. You know,
it's
you see a guitar player sitting around, they noodle. It's annoying as hell. You get a drummer there, the guitar just like, let the drum do the whole damn. You know what I mean? Like it's.
You know, I would have been a dope bass guitar player, but my pop gave away my guitar because I was making bad grades in school, and I kind of hated him for that. Like, dude, you didn't have to like give away my guitar. You could have just put it up until
like ground you from it for a couple.
Like, but give away, you know, you just you just altered my future right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
probably.
I would have. Y'all probably would have been looking at me on YouTube.
Yeah,
you know, in a
it's funny because I only follow like I'm in my mood of music is there's some ingenious bass players right now, and that's all I've been listening to is bass players, which is very strange to me. Have you heard of Mono Neon?
I haven't, but I watch a lot
Strangest
of Thundercat.
motherfucker. It's like funkier than it's like Prince found him. So he's funkier than Prince can ever be. He's like a mutant genius in this weird little kid's body almost, and he's just the funkiest, craziest. Hundreds of albums. He might be 20 something. He's got probably 100 albums. He just makes shit all day. You ever seen those videos of where like they'll have an interview with someone and it's on YouTube and all those TikToks, and someone will be talking and there'll be this guy playing bass to the, how dare you do this?
Yeah,
have you
this
seen?
one
That's
guy.
him. That's him.
Okay, well, he doesn't play bass, but he plays piano, and I know
to the notes of the voice.
Yeah, like I think one was like his favorite is like Cardi B for some reason. He he plays.
Same with the bass player.
Yeah.
Well, because she's vocal and percussive vocal.
Right,
yeah.
right. It is just amazing how he can match the
Like,
tones with
yeah, sliding. Yeah.
So it's just amazing.
Probably exactly
to
the
hear that.
same, probably concept. It may even be that dude on piano. He's just, musical genius type.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know where we got on that, but yeah. You could have been the greatest bass player alive.
Yeah, I could have, man, but
That's funny.
it's all good. I'm gonna get it done.
Your whole art story is based around this bass. You know what I mean? Like, and you tell the whole story, and it ends up, you should have been a bass player. You know?
Yeah, I should have been a bass player. Backstory. Before I moved to Atlanta, my brother came down to Albany with another guy. They wanted to see my work and everything, and he had this plan to get me up to Atlanta because he saw that there was better opportunities, better doors open, for me,
Money,
with my
eyeballs.
art, money, all of that, yeah.
Yeah.
So the guy that he brought, he was a co-owner of this concierge service. So when I come up there, I was automatically guaranteed a job, working on his company, just to make some money.
That is stability. Makes
Some stability
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, and my brother was living in Atlanta at the time, so he went back up. I've never been to jail in my life. A week before.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah, this is where
Hold
the
up,
story
hold
turns.
up.
This is where I'm
Hold up.
sorry. I have no other way
Hang
to
on.
bring that out.
That was
Yeah.
that was a perfect. Okay, hang on. Okay.
Well, let me
What
establish. Well, okay, let me establish this story first. There was a guy. He owned this bar and lounge, and he wanted a series of paintings done for his establishment. So like, okay, cool. Was a certain amount that I charged him, and he also owned a used car lot. So he gave me one of his cars, and stuff, and at the time, I was talking to someone. She lived in what was it? Dawson. She lived in Dawson. So before then, my genius ass thought that it was smart to take the license plate off of my old car and just stick it on the car that he gave me.
Because you were like, oh, it's mine.
Yeah, it's mine now. So, I'm just going to take the license plate from my old car and put it on this new car. It's pretty smart, wasn't it? Yeah.
I was as smart as you
very,
were.
Very smart move.
Same smartness.
So that night, I was taking this this young lady back to her house, and on my way back, I got pulled over by the police because my brake light was out. So, and mind you, I have no proof of insurance on this car either.
Right.
So on top of having a broken brake light, tail light, and my license plate didn't match
The car.
the car,
Right.
and no proof of insurance, that was enough to take me to jail.
Damn.
It was enough to take me to jail. So I spent,
Welcome
I
to the
spent-
city where the players play.
yeah, so I
sucks,
spent
dude.
2 nights in jail.
2 nights?
Yeah. I mean, because at the time, I mean, I had no way of contacting anyone. They allowed me to get like a phone number from out of my phone before they confiscated it, which was my mom's phone. But I didn't make a phone call until I think the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I called my mom, and the pure disappointment in her voice when I told her, she was like, "What are you doing in jail?"
Oh,
like,
you probably broke. She was probably like, I'm so proud of that dude. You know what I mean? And then, like,
but you know what? I mean, I know that she was
hey, listen,
disappointed.
it's not abnormal that your first day in Atlanta involves cops. It seems like might be a running thing.
Well, it's,
You know what I mean? Like,
but my time in jail was quite interesting. Like I having to put on that orange jumpsuit, knowing
damn.
that I used to be a correction officer. and I
Oh,
used to-
damn.
yeah. So me pulling that orange jumpsuit, and I was in intake, by the way.
What'd you say? Like, man, this is...
I was looking in the mirror, and I was like, this ain't me. This ain't me. The whole time I was saying, this isn't I.
Because you know, when you went to work as corrections, you also looked in the mirror and saw
Well-
yourself, and now you're looking, oh, man.
But the good thing is that this was like Terra County.
Yeah.
You know, the jail that I worked at was Doherty County jail, but this was Terra County, so it's a smaller jail.
Right.
And I was in intake, and I was there. You know, they didn't give you no water. They gave you a cup of ice. So I guess they melted down, and that was your water.
That's true.
So as the day was winding down, I saw that there was a lady, female officer. She was making wristbands, and I was like, because I know what those wristbands are. You know, that's when you start processing the person in intake for them to go to general population.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like,
a scary sight.
yeah. So after a while, they can only keep you in intake for so long before they process you and put you into general population. So, and when I first came in there, her demeanor was kind of polite.
Right.
But once she made those wristbands and she opened up that door, her demeanor changed instantly. She was like, "Get up,
Like, I hate y'all.
like get up, come over here, put on this wristband." And I was like, "Oh shit!" So, as I'm walking the general population, a whole lot of scenarios was coming in my head. I could be,
I don't even know what.
I could be going to the lion's den where motherfuckers want to just beat my ass for no
Right.
reason,
Right.
or they want to make me they bitch or something like that.
Your brain was going crazy.
But when
With,
I got there, it was pretty cool. You know, there were inmates around, but they was just kind of doing their own little thing,
Yeah.
chilling. You know, the first thing I managed to do was get a phone call. You know, so I ended up calling my mom. She answered, told the situation. Then, she told me that she'll see what she can do. And they put me into the cell with 2 other inmates.
Three people in there?
Yeah, it was 3 people in there. But it was cool because I got a chance to know these 2 inmates, and they was dope, man. You know, they wasn't intimidating. They was more encouraging than
Like
being
turning
aggressive.
you into some kind of
Yeah, because I told them my whole situation, man. I was like, man, I was supposed to be going to Atlanta. They was like, hey, man, just chill, man. I mean, they told them that one of them said that they was in there for like 2 weeks for probation violation, and the other one was in for like a month. But it was like, hey, man, I mean, and then I told them like what I was in for. It's like, oh man, you'll be out the next day, man. Just don't. Don't beat yourself up. They were just real encouraging. you
Right,
know?
right.
So it was cool.
That's
and then that female officer came again. She was like, she came in because I didn't make my bed because I didn't think that I was gonna be here overnight.
Right.
So I didn't make my bed. I think that next morning, came, and let me remember. That's where my mom came over my uncle. So apparently my bail was like 200 and something. My cousins ended up giving them the money to bail me out. And I was just like very relieved, that, I was able to go home that night. And then after that, I just kind of kept it on a hush-hush. I ain't let a whole lot of people know, except for the guy that commissioned me to do his work.
Right.
And the dude was like, what the fuck? Like, bro, what was you thinking,
Right, right.
And that whole
I mean,
thing was a whole other story, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because like he ended up not paying me, the money that,
Right.
he owed and stuff like that. But that's a whole different story. But yeah, so after that,
Yeah.
after
Damn
that,
it. Damn it, Atlanta. You got
yeah, well, I mean, not Atlanta, Albany, because I was
yeah,
still in
yeah.
Albany at the time.
Yeah.
But after
So
that,
Albany snatched your ass and said you ain't going to Atlanta.
well,
basically.
Albany, I mean, that was Albany's way of saying, nah, you ain't going nowhere, bro. You are here to stay.
Yeah,
You know,
that's probably the demon though you need to run from. Like,
but
I'm out Albany.
yeah, I told my brother about this. You know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, bro, we're gonna go ahead. Like with him and his now fiance, they came up with a truck. They came up with a truck and loading all my stuff on the truck, and I was off to Atlanta and never looked back. So my first experience in Atlanta was it was pretty good, man.
What year? What year is this?
It was 2013.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, because like 2013, I was probably starting to fold it in on the hustling thing, like out all the time. I would say like 2013 was when I stopped playing on the streets, I guess, kind of. So what is it like? Like, I want to know, what is it like to be an artist in Atlanta? I mean, I got my own opinion of it, but it's not easy, and it's not made for it, and it's harder than most places. So I wonder, like, right now, your paintings, you got a style going, you know what I mean? You got something going. Like, what does it feel like? What is it getting out there right now? Because it's a whole different landscape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'll say this. My first month, I didn't do a whole lot of art because I was staying with my brother. I didn't have anywhere to put my artwork. So most of it was in storage for maybe like a few months because I didn't have. But I didn't start doing art until probably like the next year, 2014. That's where I finally got my own place, you know, because I stayed with my brother for like 4 months, and then I found me a place in Midtown.
Right.
That was, you know, rent was pretty reasonable, and I was able to set up like my art studio. It was like it was just pretty much a box that I was living in, but it was mine. You know what I'm saying? No. For the first few months, it was just the wow factor of me just actually being in Atlanta, you know, because for so long I was trying to do it in my own strength, and then, you know, at the time I was going to church, so I was like really heavy in faith and stuff. So I was like, you know what, I'll just give it to God, and whatever He decides to do, you know, it'll happen. And when it finally happened, it's like, wow, man, I'm in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm
really doing it. So those few months, it was just that wow factor. And
a lot of inspiration comes from those months too. You know, that when you're like, holy
just
shit.
walking around the city, just trying to get a feel. I didn't have a vehicle at the time, so I was just taking like MARTA, or I'll just tag along with my brother since he was more familiar with, you know, the city and stuff, and he'll take me different places and everything. And also there was an atrium down the street from where my brother stayed, and that's where I had my largest piece.
So you got to Atlanta, you know, I came from Florida, so coming here, I was like, oh my God, an urban land. You know, it was feeding me like mad, more than I knew. And a lot of what I did was I just painted live until people started knowing who I was. At the time I was there, it was a restaurant that all the artists could paint. They give you free food. So we go to get food to eat, and then we paint. What did you do? Was it just the inspiration, and your work starts shedding outside of your own place? You know, it starts leaving, or did someone see it, or did you just make a move and say, I'm gonna try to get in this little spot, or what?
Well, that's what I did. Like,
what did you spark to say, I'm gonna go out there?
Well, when I first moved down there, like with a truck, the first place we went to was this atrium where, because like I had like a 12-foot by 5.5 feet painting.
Oh shit!
It was a huge painting, so I couldn't just put that in storage. So they offered a space within the atrium lobby where there's a whole bunch of other businesses and stuff. Like right there in the front lobby where I can display my work.
So you just walked in and talked to him about it, kind of thing?
Well, my brother, he knew the owner of that building, and a couple of other people that kind of helped manage that building. So they was more than happy
probably
to
get to see the work and dig it too.
Yeah,
you
get
know
the
what I
work.
mean?
And I mean that, you know, people come in, it's like, oh, dope, you know, dope artwork right there.
Yeah.
So it was a sweet place to put it, you know. And the rest of my work was in storage, but from the time being, I met another lady, and you know, I met her, and she was a poet, and that's where I kind of got into the live painting scene. So there was a space, there was a place that we went to. It was called what was it called? Fusion Bistro. That was like the first. It's no longer there anymore. It's another place that's there now. But that was the first venue that I did my live paintings at.
That's cool to know, man, because that's all I knew what to do was live paint. Because I didn't know what, I didn't know if anyone cared about me or anything, so I was like, I'll just stand up here and paint. From that era, I think a lot of the connections that are cashing in for me today probably are from that people seeing me live paint back then. You know, I mean, it really brought in a lot of longtime eyeballs or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
People that are still like looking at the stuff, kind of. But it's cool to know you live paint because I love it. And I'm the opposite. Like you're kind of shy, I'm kind of shy, but I'll live paint anytime you ask me.
Oh,
I will not get up and give a speech, never.
Same
But I'll
here,
live
man.
paint all day.
Look, same here because like I love, you know, just getting out there and being exposed. You know, people seeing me.
Yeah, all the
work my
white
way.
noise around you and all the
Right.
yeah.
I mean, I love the hearing the crowd and the noise and the music.
And you're forced to do it. That's
Yeah.
what I love.
Yeah.
I have to be moving. I have to do something here.
Right, constant moving because I
Yeah.
get at least like 3 to 4 hours tops
Yeah.
to paint something. But one of the things that I do is I prepare.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I already have a concept. Now, if there's if the event is based on a certain theme, then I'll create something based on that theme.
Yeah.
But then 9 times out of 10, I'll just do whatever I feel, you know, and I just create something according to that. But I mean, I love it, man. I love the atmosphere. It's
Y'all
you
both
know,
have y'all both painted at Apache?
yeah.
I paint Apache all the time. That was our hangout forever. Monday
Now-
night art nights, 2003 to 2010 probably ish. Every night, every Monday night we were there. Like Karen's gonna do one of these. Karen owns Apache Cafe. She owns Bonfire ETL, all that. She owns a lot of stuff. Does a lot of cool stuff. She was a huge proponent of the arts because she had that Monday night figure drawing. So at her bar, she'd have naked man, naked woman, and all the artists and all the photographers would come because they'd get their little fix of all that stuff.
Okay, well, you know they changed management, right?
Oh yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
she even. No, I think her husband.
Her name is Jay.
The
She's
new person?
Yeah.
I don't know. I talked to her like probably a couple months ago, and she was saying something about it. I couldn't remember. She said they sold it, or her husband
Right.
managing this or that, or because her husband.
Well, actually, they changed ownership, so now it's a young black girl that owns. Her
yeah?
name is Jay. Yeah, really
Okay.
sweet, really dope. But yeah, that's how I got introduced to the Apache when it was on 3rd and Spring Street.
That's what-
through
right behind the varsity, like you could hit that
Yeah.
back varsity parking lot. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a dope poet. Her name is Queen Sheba. She went to. She's been coming to like a few of the.
Well, they had other
events.
nights. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They had like art
Yeah.
night, poet night. You know.
Yeah, well, she does like 4th Sunday, so I'm usually painting every 4th Sunday out of the month.
Oh, that's cool. It's
So-
cool to know they're still doing it though. You know, like.
Oh yeah, so I'll be out there on the 28th.
So you still, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
so I
cool.
still do it.
So where are they now though? They're not.
They're Marietta Street, right there behind the
Okay.
George Aquarium.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, we lived at that place Monday because we park. Same homeless dude, nicest guy ever. I give him $2. He washed my car, or like watch it, so no one would fuck with it. Because we'd usually park in that dead end street or whatever, and then just go pay her a little $2 to Karen's little glass bucket she had of money that would get stolen all the time because she put it right by the front of the door.
Well, what was so dope about the first location was that my apartment building was literally right down the street.
Oh, really?
On the corner of 3rd and Peachtree Street. So I can just walk there
that'd
with
be
my
great.
easel and and I mean, that's the beautiful thing about where I stayed was that everything was walking distance. Like even the MARTA station was like right across from my
That's the
apartment.
problem with me is maybe it's the white in me. I always have to be in the suburbs, so I would always have to drive. You know what I mean? And Michi was always downtown, so I could always get to his studio. And during that time, I probably painted at more people's studios than they did. Like Michi would let me use the studio during the day. I'd paint all day. No one would ever be at the whole place. It was like a complex.
Yeah.
Artist studios. I'd be there all day waiting for this is gonna come alive. No artist ever there, ever painting.
Wow.
It was very strange. But then so I always used my friends' studios. And I kept it, you know, a little bit. They were nice. I thank them tons because they would have, you know, they'd pay for a little shed, but then it'd be attached to a whole entire warehouse. So you
Right.
could use the whole warehouse, even though your little room's up in here or whatever. So And it was in the middle of things like that. Like we could ride our bikes to places and
Yeah,
we
like I
ball.
could walk down the street to Blick's art store, and like just everything was just at arm's reach.
So you were like coming from Albany, all the chaos of that, but then getting to Atlanta. Yeah, that initial year or two in Atlanta is like a kid in a candy factory.
Oh,
For
man.
inspiration, for like, I'm from a small town, kind of from like, oh shit, there's art stores. Like I don't even think where I'm from there was an art store. There wasn't a store where you could go buy a bunch, Michael's, but that's a ripoff.
Yeah, Michael's. I mean,
But not a professional art store.
Right,
like a
right,
Dick
right.
Blick where it's like, I want this varnish. Michael's is like crafty,
Yeah,
what I mean?
crafty and stuff,
And everything's
you know.
3 times more expensive and all that. So it was amazing to see like that for me. Like I was just like, whoa. And I didn't even know I was gonna paint. It was just building up at the time where I was like, I got paintings everywhere. And college, I think it clicked in. And it may have been a little drugs, a little this, a little whatever, a little fun. The feeding of friends, loving it. Everything's there for you and different, when it's all going, everyone loves it. So yeah, Atlanta definitely influenced me. It had me charged for a while. And now I'm like 20 years later, I'm like, I don't know. It's not doing it. It's not doing it. It's harder now because this is what I wanted in life. I wanted to have a family. I want to have kids. I want to have maybe a little studio in my basement. So it might be me that I'm fulfilled my dreams. I got to think of, I didn't think past this. I didn't want to be a rock star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it has given me this in a way because my dumbass hasn't left Atlanta. I haven't tried to do anything outside of Atlanta, which I've had people screaming, Susan yelling at me last time, get out of Atlanta. I'm like, I don't know why I don't. When you're young, it was hard to travel. So like, oh, we get a show in New Orleans. Well, together, me and Michi come up with like $500 total. We'd have to get a hotel and then try to eat, for free. So it was so I never contemplated going anywhere because I was like, I don't have the money to frame a painting. You know what I mean? That's expensive enough. So it was like to go somewhere, to bring a painting, to have to get it back or ship it. My brain has never figured that out yet. Because I guess I'm stuck in that where like, I can't figure out how to do it. I don't have the money. Where I think I could now. I got some cash, you know what I mean? But it's still, I just never went there, which I've been yelled at enough now that I may, maybe. Watch my dumb ass will go to Florida and be like, you dumbass, that's right where you came from.
Well, I tell you,
I'm
man,
itching to go to Florida. That's sad.
I tell you, man. Since I've been here in Atlanta, man, I've gained a lot of dope opportunities.
Yeah.
Like through the work that I've been producing, out of my apartment. It's caught attention of some people, which allowed me to travel abroad.
Yeah, man.
So
Well, what is that? Like what? Just
I had this one guy. He was he's been following my work for quite some time, and then he finally reached out to me, and he stays in Newark. Newark, is that how you say it? Newark.
Newark. Is that New Jersey?
New Jersey.
Yeah, Newark.
Yeah, Newark,
We
New
don't know how to
Jersey.
say it.
I don't know, but
It's
but he finally reached out to me and granted me the opportunity to go to Paris with him.
Shit.
Paris and also Nice, like 5 days in Paris, 5 days in Nice,
is
because
Nice?
he was
Where's
curious.
Nice? Is that France?
Nice is like South France. It's
Okay.
to me, it's kind of like the Miami of France. It's like off
Okay,
of the Mediterranean coast.
You want a funny story? When we first started, we were like hyper Southern on purpose. We're trying to be, and this French girl came up to us, and she was trying to fit in, and it was I don't know why I'm stopping the story. It was the funniest thing. We were just being Southern. We heard some girls go, "Listen to their accents. It's so sexy, whatever." So we're like really Southern out, and then this girl goes, "I'm from the South. I'm from the south of France."
But yeah, when he proposed that proposition for me, I was like, okay, that's wow.
Did you go?
Hell yeah.
You been?
I never been before,
I
before
haven't.
he, but I didn't have a passport, but he helped me get my passport and everything, man. So like, but then again, at the same time, I was like, okay, I mean, I hope this ain't one of those creepy dudes.
I was gonna say that, like,
when we finally meet up and then
and
he
you're
locked
trying to
me in the
fucking open the
basement.
bathroom window and get the fuck out.
Yeah, you know, he ended up locking me up in the basement.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
was like paint boy or something, you know.
And that was the 5 years I was locked in his basement.
And Sean was never seen again. But I was like, you know what, YOLO, you only live once.
Hey, he'd get you there,
yeah,
he'd get you back.
So I was like, okay, yeah, I do that, you know. Yeah. So just that process of getting my passport and everything, you know, expedited and stuff like that. And turned out, you know, got there like first class. So not only did I get there, I got there first class, man. I was like, what, man? Like, okay, cool, man.
Do you remember the whole trip? Is there a night you might not remember?
Yeah, I remember the whole trip.
The whole trip, yeah.
Yeah, but
that's cool. Yeah, I wouldn't miss that opportunity, but I would be equally as like, what?
Yeah, I mean,
so what? I mean, did y'all art it up? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, yeah. Well, he wanted to also do like a mini interview with me. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of picking my brain and just knowing a little bit more about me and, you know, my life as an artist and my life before I was an artist and stuff. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. But for the most part, we just traveled. I think with him is that it was just his curiosity to see what my creativity would go if I was introduced to a different culture.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, so, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of curious myself, you know, where this would take me, you know, if I was introduced, because I always wanted to go, you know, overseas to a different country.
Well, I haven't been, so it's like, I imagine just the visuals
it's
alone is insane.
It's very eye-opening, man. Yeah. I was never the same after that. Matter of fact, to the point where I did a whole paint series based off of my travels in South France. So
there's a whole class of artists that do that. You know what I mean? Those French building paintings and stuff. But
I want to continue doing
it.
Yeah, I definitely want to continue doing it. I want to actually go to different countries and actually, you know, enjoy the country, you know, experience the culture, and then come back and do a whole series of work based off of my travels there.
I mean, that'd be great because yeah, my art's based around me having a great life and then showing you a picture. You know what I mean? That's perfect. That's perfect. Like you found that. Not dirty as in dirt, but raw. Is that what you mean? Like you found the raw textured pieces of France? You know what I'm saying?
I'll say this, like when I went to Nice, that was it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like Paris is nice, but when I went to Nice and saw like the older part of Nice, man, it blew me away. Like if I was to choose to go back, I would rather go back to Nice instead of Paris because like Nice just holds a special place in my heart.
Did it feel realer maybe?
It felt surreal and real at the same time because
it's so old and everything.
It's so old and it just felt like time just stood still. And I love all the imperfections. Funny story. I was taking a video of this one narrow alleyway. You know, I mean, basically because of the architecture, and then they had like this
their alleyways are
bike.
legendary almost.
But then it kind of shows just how free the people are in that country, because right when I was taking that video, an old dude came out and whipped his dick out and just took a piss right off the side of and then when he looked back and then he saw that I was like, hey, I'm not filming you. I'm not filming you. I'm just filming the scene. So I had to like
before you came out.
Yeah. So I had to like put the phone down a little bit so he continued doing his business.
Yeah.
But he was just like real nonchalant about it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, do your thing, brother. But,
yeah.
But it's just
I'm thinking like, what?
Hilarious.
Yeah, man. But one thing that I learned about a hummingbird. One thing
I did that the other day and I had to explain that I have ADD and I do this from time. I was on a meeting and I go, oh shit, 2 hummingbird. And the whole meeting had to stop. I'm like, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. You know,
it's my first time seeing a hummingbird.
I feel you.
But one thing I learned about the people there in that city is that they're very carefree. You know, it's
that's a French of the top of the carefree cultures, I think.
Because you know, usually you see them, it's like they're not in a rush to do anything. It's not that they're lazy, it's just that because of
Their culture is.
their culture is just so relaxed and so different from ours. Is that, I mean, these are the type of people that when they do business over wine
Yeah.
and food,
Yeah.
or like, once they get to know you, you're considered family. They invite you in, you'll have a drink, you'll have food.
Do you find the
And
people nicer in Nice than in Paris? Because
They're much nicer.
I've heard Paris straight up hates other people. I've heard it's just a very kind of mean city, a little maybe.
Well,
Now, probably all cities are. Probably New York's mean as fuck when you go there too.
really,
people,
I was
you know?
so taken away by the attraction. I didn't really take the time
Yeah,
to
that-
like see how people. I've met a lot of people, like this one guy, and this was like at the terminal there, and then he kind of looked back at me and he was like, "Sure," and I was like, oh, "Okay," But "sure" means hot because it was
Oh, yeah.
it was hot in the building, but it was just this way of just saying it's hot in here,
Oh yeah.
But just his like genuine interaction with me, what I'm saying, was pretty cool,
Right.
because
Right.
here in Atlanta, you probably wouldn't get that, what I'm saying. It would just be like, it's hot, he'll probably just be, God damn, it's hot up in there, motherfucker,
That's
man.
what I was
But he
thinking.
wouldn't,
I was like,
he wouldn't
no.
be all cheery
Like
because
a
he was very
t-shirt,
cheery.
sweat slung up from
Right.
his shoulder. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, you know what I'm saying? But this guy, he was very cheery about it. When he,
Yeah.
he looked at me, it was very a genuine smile when he said, "Sure." And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, hot. Yeah, it is hot. So, totally different social dynamics, that I
I mean,
really like.
you got to look at it though. That's pretty freaking cool that not long from fucking jail in Albany, sadly,
Yeah.
you're in France.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean? That to me is like, oh, that's a good.
But then again, it comes to show
Juxtapose.
that you never know who's watching you. You know
No.
what I'm saying? And there's people out there that, they do they do consider, what you do, as a value.
Right.
That you're not just painting pictures, but these are pictures that really, it has some type of value in their life.
Comes from
You know what I'm saying?
somewhere.
It comes from
you know,
somewhere.
Yeah.
A memory, something that they can definitely relate to, and they want you to keep going. So that gesture that this guy has made for me, it means a lot. That was the highlight of because it happened in 2016. That was the whole highlight of that year for me.
Yeah.
That whole
And it's probably
experience.
driven you for years after. You know what I mean?
It
really,
has.
a good little dump of fuel. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, it really.
And you need
has.
that because that's where I'm at. I think I'm looking for fuel.
I think every artist should travel somewhere overseas. You know what I'm saying? Get that inspiration.
Yeah, I don't even have a passport. Yeah, it's like,
Get a passport, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it will open up your it opened up my mind in reference to, the social aspect of how people operate. Just
and you
You
can
know,
leave
people-
your situation. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to get trapped in Albany. You can
No.
leave at any. You know what I mean?
No.
Like some people don't know they can.
right.
just
Yeah,
go
you can
somewhere.
leave.
Yeah, you can just leave. You can just leave your life at any time you want and go somewhere else, start a new one almost. But
But if it wasn't for like people in my life that has so much consideration for what I do and appreciation for what I do, then it probably would have never happened. I probably would have still been in Albany,
yeah,
today. I mean, or maybe eventually I would have made my way to Atlanta.
right. It might have been a different
But
story.
it would have been a
Yeah.
totally different story. But it just comes to show that people do care about, what you do.
Well, let me ask you this: you're in it now, right? You're trying to establish you. So when they say
Right.
your name, they know. Like, not really advice, but like, how do you feel like there's ways of going about it today in this city? If you're here, like, advice on what to do. Like I always say, paint live. That's the only advice I really give people sometimes because I'm like, it'll lead to a lot of stuff. I always know it'll lead to a lot of stuff. But is there anything like you figured out or you've known or you avoid or you know what I mean? Like any advice to anyone really?
I'll say this, and this is just from my experience because this is what I'm currently in now.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a plan, specifically what you want to do. Even though you don't know overall, what you're wanting to do, you have to have some type of plan. some type of goal that you initially want to accomplish. But just make sure you have that plan and just come up with strategic ways to carry out that plan. Just start planning some side objectives of what you're going to do to get there. And
so like on a less level, like in a sense, like what are you doing like that? Like not giving away your plan, but like
yeah.
Like if you think ahead, like you're kind of saying, think ahead. Be at least a step ahead.
Just with me, like as far as like the type of work that I want to produce, what I've done is I set up a calendar, and on this such and such a day, I am going to work on this, and then this such and such a day, I'm going to work. Say like if I'm doing commissions, okay, because like in the past, it was kind of hard for me to balance my personal work and art commissions, because it's like, okay, well, I know these art commissions, I'm guaranteed, a payout, versus like my own personal work, it's not really guaranteed because every artist is at the mercy of, the public's consumption.
Yeah, you gotta make a living.
Yeah. So what I do is that, okay, now that I'm doing this full time and I have my own studio, I have to start planning these things out, time management, where now, okay, I can set up a time where I'm just working on my personal projects. Say like I do this on Tuesday and then I do it, like I skip Wednesday, do it every other day. I'll dedicate those days to just my projects, and then I'll dedicate the other days on commissions. So that way, when I wake up, it's not going to be any guesswork to, okay, what am I working on today? Automatically know. Even if I have to go to the vision board and see, what I have to do, then I'll do that to know what I'm doing that day. And then, if you want to get a little bit more specific, okay, what personal project am I going to work on today? Well, okay, I have this carnival painting that I'm working on. Okay, when am I? Basically, just try to come up with a plan within a plan, so that way, you're not kind of like running around with a chicken with his head cut off. So I think overall, just try to plan what you're doing, and then once you get the hang of that, then the bigger picture will start to come in. You'll start to understand more of the ultimate goal and what you're trying to do. So
yeah, planning. So you plan it. Yeah, I could use that advice. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been thinking of that myself. I'm like, I just need to put a timer for 2 hours and come down here for 2 hours and paint. And it's so weird for me because I'd paint 100 paintings a year, every year, 16 hours a day. So for me, it's weird that I guess when you get older, some of the angst gets taken out of you, and that angst is it's a good motivator kind of thing. So it's kind of the advice even someone who's been doing it forever too is like, I need to plan. I need to plan ahead. I was telling someone the other day, I was like, I'm lost. I'm lost. I've done it all, but I'm lost. I have no idea what to do, which is weird.
Even with that, because like, people think that, I got all this free time because, I do this full time.
You sit around, drink coffee all day and,
well,
like artsy stuff or something?
No, well, I don't have free time like that. So that discipline, you definitely have to have that discipline. So when people hit you up and it's like, hey man, you want to go here, you want to go there? Well, if you know that you have a project, especially, if you have like a deadline, the thing is that I want to try my best to be on top of it, to where I'm not, racing at the last minute trying to get things done, the day before. So it's a discipline that needs to, of course, I would love to relax. I would love to go to the park or go out with family and friends and do this. But if I know that I have this priority, then, I have to turn them down. Like, I'm gonna have to sit this one out.
Well, that's a good dedication because a lot of people are in it for the party more than the work. You know what I'm saying? So like to turn down the party to go work is a dedication you probably need to have it. To make it work however it works here.
Yeah, it's like they say,
because a lot of people art is like art is sometimes just a party with backdrops. You know what I mean? And so it's hard to resist the party. And then, you know, I lost it there. This is where I lost. I lost my thought.
Well,
I lost
it's like
a thought.
this, you know,
Hey,
you
it's one
work
episode.
hard now so you can play harder later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, to me, it's like business before pleasure.
So let me ask you this: you're in the middle of it. What do you think of the Atlanta art scene right now? Like, what does it feel like to you? What is it? Is there, you know, problems? Is it lacking? What does it feel like to you? Because you know what I mean? It's still inspirational, but
I'm gonna be honest with you, because I'm just now I'm slowly getting out into the art scene in Atlanta, but at times I do feel a certain division. You know, like
explain.
Within the art scene is kind of cliquish. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
I mean, this is how I feel. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like if you're not a part of a certain group, then they don't really fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Or they have this attitude of indifference. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I've been part of groups that if I don't agree with stuff that they agree with now, they don't fuck with me anymore. And I've done shit for them for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, so it's almost like this secret club in certain groups, you know.
well, that's the one thing I can say that comes from me is like, I've always done it myself. Always relied on myself, probably to a fault. Like I could have gathered a lot more teams during the years, but it sounds like it is yourself. You know what I mean? Until you get your clique, you know what I mean? I feel it because when we were doing it in the early 2000s, there was nothing. There were no cliques. There may have been cliques, but those cliques were, I'd walk by W, high five him, because he just sold a painting, I just sold a painting. He's his own clique, I'm my own clique, but it was more of like, fuck yeah, we just sold paintings out of our truck. You know, out of the back of a truck or whatever. Now it seems like there's all these process and cliques and things you must join and which maybe this is the start of the anti that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and my thing, man, is that I get along with everybody, man. You know, no matter like what type of art you do, you know.
Isn't it strange that someone that can get along with everyone can't get along with them? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird that like you should be floating among groups and saying hi, but it's very, it does seem cliquish. That came around like the 2012ish, 2013, probably right when you got here is when it kind of clicked out.
I remember I went up to, I don't know, this one couple, I don't know whether they owned the venue or something. And this is like at night, you know, because I don't know whether I got my dates mixed up or whatnot. I thought that that this event's supposed to happen tonight.
Right.
But like, I just asked them a simple question, like, you know, is there an event going on? And they just immediately was like, they kind of just brushed me off, like, no. And then they just went on, like, well, damn, you know what I'm saying? You just...
Which is the opposite of what the South is even known for, in a way. At least
Southern hospitality.
Yeah, even, yes, that's the one thing that still remains. They like, people come down here, they say hi. Maybe to a New Yorker, it's very strong.
I think it's bullshit too. You know what I'm saying? It's Southern hospitality. I think it's starting to lose its fizzle.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the more people from
It disappears. Yeah.
It's starting to disappear, man. And now it's like you get to a point where you can't even smile at a motherfucker without them mean mugging you or,
Right.
you know, showing against the attitude of indifference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
But
sucks too.
on the same note, I can't. It's like if you don't put yourself out there, then you won't know how people will gravitate towards you. So, like I said, I'm just slowly starting to immerse myself out there into the community. Like Articulate Atlanta was a good way to really get back out there and start, you know, reuniting with other fellow artists. And
That's one reason I want to talk to you, because you're having to get into these things now. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
and sometimes it just takes just going to these different art shows.
Yeah.
You know, like whenever you see a flyer
Just
you
go
know,
and
just
meet
take
them.
advantage of it and just go. You know,
Yeah.
because you never know who you might run into, and then before you know it, you're networking with them.
Talking to the lady
And
that
then you
handles this.
Yeah, you're talking to more people. So I just say, just go out there, because like we can sit back in the sidelines and be judgmental of how people, but at the same time, if you don't actually like immerse yourself
Right.
into that environment, then no, it's going to look kind of
Right.
skeptical to us. But if you don't put yourself out there, then you're not going to know, you're not going to be able to get to know people. And
or the good or
personality.
bad of any
Yeah,
situation.
good and bad,
Yeah,
you
you're
know.
just going to be. You know my opinion on it.
Yeah.
It's a government-run art scene right now. The politicians run the Atlanta art scene. So they pick what they want activated in the art scene. There is no organic art scene. It got squashed by this kind of like these foundations and these things that you kind of required to have certain things to even be allowed to be promoted by them and stuff. For me, it feels very like a bureaucratic art scene.
Yeah, and I guess in
But
a way,
we are still the Wild West.
yeah, and I guess in a way I kind of sort of understand, because it is a certain aesthetic. That's why they always have like, that process where, they want you to submit, kind of like a resume, and want to see, samples of your work, and like proposals and presentations and stuff like that, because there is a certain aesthetic. Because if you just start allowing anybody to come in, then, especially when it comes to like mural work and stuff like that, you want to make sure that you got people that, for one, they know what they're doing, and they're going to add a certain aesthetic to, the community, and not just do whatever they want to do and kind of bring the community value down.
I had a lady I got hired for a mural, and she hired me because she knew I'd show up on time and I wasn't a little punk. That's what she said.
Yeah.
So the professional aspect of just looking like you can do it, be on time, got your shit together was huge, especially.
Yeah.
And I found art consultants, whatever they are, they're how you make your money. They get in with art consultants. Find them wherever they exist.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah. No.
I mean, maybe if I was more established as an artist, but like, this is how I met this one art consultant. Was with the first Articulate show that I was a part of, and she really liked my work, and she wanted to, be like my art advisor, you know what I'm saying, and kind of link me to different art collectors and stuff like that. The only thing I didn't agree with was the 50-50.
Oh, for just a...
Yeah. I didn't agree with that. Like 50.
I do it like Hollywood. You get 10% off the top, like all the Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like,
cause it's almost like, I understand you. And from what people were saying, she was like top tier art advisors. She did art advisories for a lot of pretty well known artists in Atlanta and the collectors and stuff. But I just didn't feel like that 50-50 with me, just still being an emerging artist. It's almost like you did the work. But I understand that she has years and years of expertise.
And you may get 200 for your paint, she may get 10,000. You know what I mean? That's the difference. If they could bring the huge art world prices, then 50% is not bad until you start realizing, wait a minute, people want them for this much. Why are you taking it? Eventually the 50% is going to hurt you a little. It's going to make you start being like, what are you doing again?
So yeah,
because you got to paint them. She can get as many shows as you want.
Right.
You still got to paint them all.
Right. I mean, it takes a long time, many hours to produce.
So but connections like that sometimes can be game changers. Sometimes.
And I'm not knocking. What I'm saying, like I'm pretty sure she. I mean, she deserves that.
Yeah.
But for me, it just didn't work for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It probably worked for other artists that's a little bit more established, but for me at that time, it just didn't work for me. You know?
Right.
All right, let's shift real quick. So yeah, some Atlanta folks that you're into, or Southern folks that you're into,
Or just who you like, honestly.
yeah, anybody.
Okay. One artist is Ralph Ren Dillard. He's a phenomenal artist. He's actually going to be curating the art show, but his collage work, his paintings, just diving into, what I'm saying, Afro diaspora, kind of like the political realm and everything. It's just phenomenal. Just, how he puts his pieces together through collage and painting is phenomenal. Another dope artist his name is Dawu. He's one of the co-creators of Brother Man Comics. Phenomenal illustrator, very down-to-earth guy. His art style is very, as far as like his environments, is very similar to mine. Because I like how he does, like in the background, where everything, like the city skyline is silhouettes, and then in the foreground it's more detailed.
Right.
And the colors are very vibrant, and sometimes they can be monotone, but it's done in a very stylish way.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Another artist that I can definitely, Darian Goodman. He's a phenomenal artist as well. Let me see another one.
I like that I
West.
haven't heard of it. Like, I want to go after this, look at these people right away. Yeah.
Yeah, Darian West. He's a phenomenal artist. He kind of puts me in the train of like a Basquiat. He does a lot of abstract, but he also have a lot of figurative. And he also works with collage, and it's dealing with finance and, the political arena as far as like our finances and stuff like that. And it's just very visually, aesthetically pleasing. It's a very conversation piece. There's so many other artists out there. It's kind of hard to name right off the bat.
That's cool to know. It's cool to hear names I've never heard, because I only know the people I know. So it's like
George Gabrith. George Gabrith is another phenomenal artist. He actually Gabrith.
Gabrith.
Gilbreth. Mm-hmm.
Gilbreth. Okay.
Yeah, he helps orchestrate the Articulate ATL events, and his work is just phenomenal. His is more so, they're kind of abstract, but they also have that figurative element to it as well.
Right.
With like the architecture, like a lot of iconic landmarks in Atlanta.
Right.
He incorporates them into his work, so he's pretty dope, and I love his use of colors.
Yeah.
They're pretty dope. So you'll see his work throughout the city of Atlanta.
Yeah. I appreciate you doing this. Like, I appreciate you come talking, man. I
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no, I think whenever you said, I can paint that. Something about that when I was like, I can paint letters. Like, when you said that, something about that just cheered me the fuck up. I don't know why. But yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Sean, tell us about your logo. And it's on your hat, and it's on your arm.
Oh, okay. Well, my logo also
Tell John.
my logo also serves as my signature. So whenever I do create a piece, this is the signature that you will see on my work. How I came across this signature was I was just doodling on a envelope, and then I sent it to my brother, and he actually digitized it. And it became my official art signature and logo ever since.
So it kind of surprised you with like a digitized. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I for a while signed my paintings the same I did my checkbook, so I had to change that. I thought it was supposed to be authentic.
Yeah, well, now I have this thing where with the new pieces that I do is, instead of just putting it traditionally on the bottom right or left-hand side, I just kind of incorporate it into the environment.
Oh, okay. So
So
you
now
only
it's
gotta
like-
find it?
Yeah, so it's like more so they have to like find it, kind of like a Where is Waldo situation.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Thanks for coming.